And welcome back. Today we are flying out the Potez with a bunch of random numbers. Honestly, I forgot. It's gonna be in the title, because I probably remembered by the time I put up this video. At least I hope I did. So what is this plane about? And I'm looking at it right now. It's gonna be the two Hispanos underneath the nose. 90 rounds per guns, 180 rounds total, and they do pack quite a punch, together with the fact you have a pretty damn good turn rate, and you have an air spawn, and of course you are at a pretty low BR, so most people don't really know how to deal with you, and you don't really run into this thing very often. So even if they are semi-experienced, very likely they won't know how to deal with this thing, because it's pretty unique in that regard. It's extremely slow however, and the climb rate is appallingly bad. But you know, you do get a 3.5 kilometer air spawn, so it does mitigate that problem a little bit. So how do you want to fly this thing? Well, firstly, you want to make sure that you basically never get below people. You do not want to dive on the first guy you see. You want to work your way down slowly, because if you go lower, basically every meter that you lose, every kilometer an hour that every calorie that you lose, you are probably not going to get back unless you eat as much as your mother does. In the meantime, thank you to all my patrons, because right now we are simply cruising around and I'm finding things to talk about. And then we nose down, because a little bit later into the match, we can look around. Most of the enemies are spotted, so now I know what happens if I dive on this guy or the guy right next to him. I know that there is no one above me really, so I'm free to pick on whoever I want. He tries to go head on with us. Not really gonna work out. He's essentially stalled out. Well, not even essentially, he is stalled out. We click him out of the air after missing twice. It was the first game I did in it, so my aim isn't gonna be absolutely stellar. I'm still gonna get 7 kills without having to rearm. But I'm gonna miss shots like that, because I just don't know where the guns go just yet. Kill the first guy. We break off, and we try to not go too fast. In this thing, if you go above 340-ish, you're wasting energy. Just put it into a very slight climb, and then dive on someone, or pitch up, get a little bit of a safety net, so you can actually engage people. I see the Heinkel 51 shooting at us, which means that he is losing energy, which means that he's paying attention, but he's too slow to really do anything. So we click twice, and now I start to have an understanding of where these guns go. And it of course does help that these guys are going 12 kilometers an hour. So now we loop after this guy. I want to kill him right now, because he's right below us. I want to make sure that he doesn't kill our teammate. There we go, click him out of the air, 2 rounds used, and that's 3 kills in a very short time span. So we break off. I then see 2 guys on the left over there, as well as 1 guy on our right, but the guy on the right already has someone on his 6, so I'm gonna be ignoring him, and I'll go and help out the SB2U, as well as the other guy that's being shot right now, the D371. The Heinkel 112 goes down on our right, so it's a good thing I didn't actually go for him. And now I notice that the SB2 is shooting at the Heinkel 112. He's probably not gonna go down, but we have Mr. Juan Pablo here that's shooting at someone else. So we shoot on him, we click him, we only get a crit, but it looks like his engine is pretty badly damaged, because this guy starts going about 200 kilometers an hour. So I just loop over, I click, I get a hit, click again, and I kill his pilot by shooting his wing root, because you know, that's how these things work. I now come in to start helping, or to start and help the SP2 with the Heinkel 112, but I'm not sure if he actually needs it, and you can see that I'm instantly climbing a little bit. It might be faster for me to actually point my nose at the enemy and just start diving on them, but in the long run it might be better to get a little bit of altitude and then start diving in, because I need some energy and I see that my teammates are needing help, so then I will sacrifice it trying to save them, because if I don't, I might end up in the 2v1. Luckily that guy goes down instantly because he's shooting at one of my friendlies, and then the Heinkel 100 goes for us. We just loop up and over, and is he really gonna do anything here? Not really. There's like 3 of us, and he is already out of energy and way too slow. We missed the first 2 bursts. We click once more, and you guessed it, we miss again. This guy is extremely slow now, and look at the turn rate difference. So we just aim at his cockpit, and we click him straight out of the air. Heinkel 100 is down, and then a little bit later, Heinkel 111 that we missed at the start of the game decides to lose all his energy and starts flying in front of us. We kill his engines, we click him out of the air, and that's 7 kills. With a little bit more than half our ammo. And here we are. This will really show you what this plane is like once you start diving on people, and how slow you will be in a very short amount of time. So we are diving in. We do have an oil leak because we got hit by some flak midfield AA at like 3.5 kilometers. It's very great, but it is what it is. So I go for this guy first because he's closest on my teammate. We click him out of the air. And then we look around, there's still 3 guys right below us, and we do have some energy right now to actually stall these guys out. So who do I want to go for? It's going to be the guy in the back, because if I go for the guy in the front, the Heinkel 100 will 100% run me down, and I don't want that to happen. So I go for the guy in the back, and then in the event of him flying underneath us, we're going to be able to shoot him down here, and then I might be able to kill the second guy, but Razor already has him covered. And after that, look at my speed, I'm going 410 in a very slight climb. Not exactly ideal, but that's something you just have to deal with. This thing turns very well, but it's gonna be extremely slow, and being very slow puts you in a pretty vulnerable position. Do keep in mind you do have a gunner, but it's gonna be the Mach 7.5. It's not the most amazing gun, especially with dispatching people quickly. It's very good at giving people oil leaks, because it has an absolutely bonkers rate of fire, and it's very easy to hit with. However, it's still a 7.5 and it's not gonna one-shot many people out of the air. Sometimes you will, because you are facing people in the biplane, but in general, don't count on it killing them instantly. And if they hit you at all, you're gonna be even slower, and with an oil leak or water leak, you are gonna be in a little bit of a problem. So we dive in, we click the Gladiator out of the air. Not exactly a very amazing plane either. And then we just break off. I could have gone for the Gladiator right there, but I'd rather put a little bit of my speed back into altitude and see if I can start engaging anyone else. So we are looking around. Gladiator again, not a high priority target, and I do see another plane on his left. It's going to be the I-153. Now that's something I don't really want to deal with, but at the same time I can't really wait on them because I want these guys to die. And if you're going to ask me what did you do wrong this game, it's going to be this exact mentality. I got a little bit greedy. So I go for the Gladiator here. He's gonna be a very easy kill. So I click him out of the air. We go straight back up. And I notice that the I-153 hasn't actually dived at all. So I loop over. I'm not gonna be too fast anyway. I try to cool the engines down in the dive here. And I'm going to start re-engaging. And this kind of furball, it's very easy for me to clean up the entire enemy team. And that's why I started diving on these guys. It's a little bit of being greedy. But right now I'm going 470, dropping quickly and forced to go horizontal here because I need to save these teammates. And I will. I'm going to shoot both these guys down very handily here. Here's the J8. He is down. And then we go for the I-16. But now I'm going 320 on the deck. And there is a biplane right next to me. He's going to kill me 100%. And because I was so busy with the furball, I forget about the SU-2. It's unlucky that he sets me on fire that easily. But it doesn't really matter because I was dead regardless. And in the end here, am I going to put the fire out? The answer is no, because that's a tree. And the real reason I died right there is because I didn't prioritize my targets correctly. I should have gone for the I-153. I might have been a little bit slower and some more of my teammates probably would have died. But I probably would have won that match with 7 to 8 kills instead of dying with 5. Now, we still won the game because I managed to snowball it fast enough during the early part. And that's also a thing. And that's a little bit of a trade-off. In hindsight, it's very easy to say, I should have done this or that. At that very moment, the fact that I dove right in probably won us the game. But looking at it, looking how the game developed, I probably would have been fine if I took my time killing the I-153. And if I had done so, we probably would have won it without actually losing our own plane. Now sure, it's a little bit of a hit or miss, it's a little bit of a, it's not that black and white. Both choices will lead to different outcomes, but it's always good to look at the game at the end of the match, even if you won it. But when you lose it, it's a much more apparent thing that you made a mistake. Because very often when you make a mistake, you get away with it. And that's fine, but that doesn't make you look at it. And I can look at that previous game where I died and give me a reason for why I died. I can say I wasn't aware enough, I didn't see the SU-2, otherwise I could have very easily killed him. Now that's very true, I made a mistake versus the SU-2, but I shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. The mistake was about 1 to 2 minutes before I died, which is what most people miss. 9 out of 10 times you want to avoid the scenario altogether, and if you work well, then you very likely will. Now there's something here like the F1 diving on us, we can't really do anything about that, we are more maneuverable, but he can choose when to engage us. He has a better climb rate, it's a very big map, luckily he tries to dogfight us, and the turn rate difference, you can see it clearly here. I'm much slower than him, which already allows us to sit in his turn circle quite easily, but we also turn better. So what ends up happening is if he tries to turn with us at all, he's just going to end up flying through our guns multiple times. Instead, he thinks about diving away, which is the right thing to do, but I'm kind of forced to go down with him, because if I break off, he's going to be very easily able to pull up after me again, because he will be faster with a better climb rate. And if I break off, then he's going to pull back into us. The guy on my 6 is going to make it a 2v1, and that's a position I don't want to be in. So I'd rather just chase this guy back to the deck. There's not many people at alt except for the guy above us. So I'm going to try to kill this guy as quickly as I can. He's already damaged, and then I'll put myself in the safety net with teammates around. Whereas if the 109 above us tries to dive on us, guess what? I'm going to be able to survive versus him for a decent amount of time. And in that time, I will either outturn him because he needs to dodge my teammates, or my teammates will clean him up. And that's exactly what happened. He had to disengage and ended up doing nothing for the next 3 minutes of that game. So we are going to look at a different match. We are above an FU 1A, and that's one of those planes you want to get out of the match as quickly as you can. Why is that? Because he goes extremely quickly, and man, those guns are a pain in the ass. The 50 cals, if sprayed at you, they're very likely to give you some minor damage, and minor damage on this thing is something you don't want to deal with. So I dive on this guy. I want to get him out of the match as fast as possible, but right now I'm trying to mask my turn. I'm not turning fully. And then I notice that he's going back up, and then I stamp on the elevator because I already baited him into going slow. The problem with dogfighting in this thing is people see that you turn extremely quickly, and if you do this in the 1 or the 2nd turn, the 1st or 2nd turn, what ends up happening is people try to dive away and they try to run, and if they do that, you are in a world of hurt because this thing isn't very fast. So what I like to do is bait them into the turn fight, because you are a massive twin engine plane that no one really knows. You just fight them, you don't turn fully, you turn slowly, and then once they start doing something that puts them in a position where they can't dive away anymore, you stamp on the elevator, and they're gonna die right then and there. And there is nothing they're gonna be doing about it if they don't know what this plane is actually like. And not many people do. So here comes the BF-109 F2 from the side. I try to set up for a stall shot, because right now we are slow enough to the point where we can deal with this. And I notice that he's going vertical. I'm not going to go straight vertical after him. I'm going to go horizontal after him because I don't have the energy to go vertically after him. So I try to stay above his turning circle, kind of sit inside of it. I'm slower, I turn much better at these speeds. So I get the shot pretty quickly. He then tries to reverse. He turns around and he turns right back into our gun sight. And down goes the F2. So what now? We look around. Who can we engage? And we have 2 guys right below us. Or right in front and below us, 1 guy right below us, and then there's another dude on our left. The guy on the left is least priority, because he's in a bomber. The Heinkel 100 and the Heinkel 112, however, are tangled up in a little bit of a dogfight here. And it's a Key 43, which should win that on his own, but he's asking for cover. The P400 goes down, and now it's 2v1 versus the Key 43, which isn't going exactly quick. And if he's not very experienced, it's understandable that he can't really deal with that. It's very hard, very much so if you are new, to look around for multiple enemies, even if you outperform them completely. Because you still need to turn around, and you still need to pay attention to the right guy, and make it so that you are engaging someone without providing yourself an easy kill for the next guy. So we go head on with the Heinkel 1 or the Heinkel BF-109E. He goes head on, he's way too slow, so we just pitch up after him, and he is going to be dead. Razor says he has him, so I break off, and he can kill him right there. He doesn't actually kill him, because the Heinkel... It's not a Heinkel, man. It's not that hard. It's a BF-109E. So I break off, and I'm going to set up for the next guy that's coming in right now. So that only one of us is on low energy. Key 27. And that plane is a little bit of a problem, because he outclimbs, outruns, and outturns us completely. The Key 27 outturns the Chaika, the I-153. So you don't really want to deal with that in this thing. This thing turns quite well, but is not quite a biplane. And even though the Key 27 only has the 2 7 mils, and I've gotten 8 kills with that without landing, if you're interested in that, it's going to be in the top right. But these guns are very hit or miss, mostly miss, because they are absolutely atrocious. But the flight performance makes up for it, especially when you are in a plane like this thing. However, if you get sent on fire in that thing, good luck, you're going to burn up. It's just very annoying because he outperforms you in every metric in a very high regard, or very high degree. Which means, did he just put the fire back on? He just ignited himself again. Well, anyway, so even though his guns are shit, it doesn't really matter because he's going to be able to sit on you forever. And when an oil leak is enough to basically cripple you beyond being able to fight anything, You want to be careful even of the smallest amount of caliber guns, because all they have to do is hit your engine once and this thing will be completely useless. It's not like a 109 or an FU that can fly around for a little bit without cooling. This thing becomes useless very quick, because this thing is already useless with the engines completely operational, and with them slightly damaged or even a leaking damage, you are going to be a flying time bomb. And you are not fast to begin with, so you can't really glide back to base either, because the distance you cover without any engines is extremely small. It's not like a jet, it's not like a Bf-109 with the end or the prop feather, stuff like that. So we have two guys right below us. Who do I want to engage first? Well, the 109E here is definitely top priority, because it's a better plane. The Heinkel 112 is not exactly that dangerous, and this guy is also providing himself to be an easy shot, so I can go for him pretty handily. We shoot at him and he instantly dies. We then keep on diving for the Heinkel 112, and I'm not really worried about dogfighting this guy even if I overshoot, because it's already a 1v1. And if you are in the 1v1 and you have a hefty energy advantage, you can actually just full send turn after these guys, and there is very little they can do. Now sure, if I miss my shots here and if I don't kill him quickly, I might end up eventually stalling out and being able to let him run away from me, but he needs to actually do that, and he needs to get into the position to do that first, because I turn that much better. It's very hard for him to actually energy trap me and try to actually reverse me. You can tell, look at that, we just pull in without any issues, and we're just gonna click him out of the air. Bit of a shorter one today, but thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.